Hello students, welcome to Misostudy again. In today's session, I will be talking about placentation. So, topic of today's class you have is placentation. Now, what is placentation? You all must have heard about the placenta. Listen very carefully. What is placenta? Placenta is a parenchymatous tissue which is present in ovary, right? And that is used for the attachment of ovules to the ovary. So, what are these? These are parenchymatous tissues, or you can write the cells which are used for the attachment of ovules to ovary. Now, this is definition of a placenta, but we have to know about the placentation. Now, what is placentation? Placentation is arrangement of ovules in a ovary. This is termed as a placentation. Now, there are various ways of placentation. I mean to say there are various ways by which these ovules are placed in a ovary, right? Sometimes a single ovary is present, sometimes multilocular ovaries are present. Sometimes syncarpous condition is seen and sometimes it is not. So, let us discuss about the types of placentation. Types of placentation. So, in this we have a different type. The first we have is a exile. That is a arrangement of ovule. Or let us do one thing. First of all, let us discuss about the marginal, because we have only one example, then we will proceed towards the other. So, first let us discuss about marginal. In this case, a single ovary and a single ovule is present. One of the end of these ovary, they fold itself and they form a placenta, right? So, in this case, what happens is monocarpellary condition seen. Monocarpellary condition is seen, and also in this case you can see that a single ovule is present which will give rise to a single locules. So, unilocular arrangement. Right. And also the ovary bears a single longitudinal axis. So, ovary bears single longitudinal ovule, which is very beautifully arranged. In this we have an example like Pisum sativum, the Lathyrus odoratus, right. So, in this case what happens? One of end of ovule fold and form placenta. Placenta. In this we have an example like Pisum sativum, and Lathyrus odoratus. Lathyrus odoratus. This is first, this is a marginal type of placentation. Now let's see what how this marginal type of placentation look like. For that you have to come to this side. So in this case, the ovule which is present, as I have discussed also, they form such type of condition. That is the reason this is called as a unilocular. Right? This is called as a ovule. This is called as a ovary wall. This is called as a placenta. And this is called as a locule. Right? So this is an example of a marginal placentation. Marginal placentation, right? Let's discuss about a second which I have written earlier, that is the axile placentation. Axile placentation. What is axile placentation? In this case, the multilocular type of arrangement is there. In this case, the multicarpellary condition is seen and the syncarpous ovary is there. And in this, we can see that different locules are present towards the margin. So, multicarpellary condition, the syncarpous and multilocular. Right. In this case, what happens? There is an inward folding of these carpels. So, there is a inward growth of margins of carpel which forms multilocular structure. Multilocular structure. As the name indicates, the axile placentation, that means axis will be present in the center. So, they have one axis present in center, right? And in this we have an example like citrus. For example, Citrus rutaceae. You can take one example of Solanum nigrum. China rose, etc. So, these are the certain example of a axile placentation, right. Now, let us see how this axile placentation look like. For that you have to come to this side. Students, come to this side. Now, just have a look. These are the locules present. I will show you where these placenta lie. So that is the reason they are called as a multilocular, because you can see that different locules are present. Right. So this is called as a ovary. Here this will be called as a central axis. These will be called as a locule, and these are in the ovary, as you can see, the ovules are arranged. So this is called as a ovule. So this is an example of a axile placentation. Axile placentation, right? Now let's discuss about the third one, which we call it as a parietal placentation. In this case, the unilocular ovary is seen, only one locule is present and the syncarpus ovary is there. So, syncarpus and unilocular ovary present, right? And it contains these placenta towards the inner side of ovary. So, let's write, it contains placenta towards the inner side of fused margins of two carpal. Very important. Parietal. With the diagram, I will tell you what kind of placentation is this. In this, you can take one example, like here have a radish, such as carrot, agrimone, your mustard, etc. Right? Mustard, etc. In this, if you look at the arrangement, let's have a look.
What is Simoes inflorescence? Right. What is the Simoes inflorescence? See what is happening here, we have said, what have we said? We have said that there are two types of inflorescence. One is a racemose and the other one is the Simoes type of inflorescence. Racemose and Simoes type of inflorescence, and it is the Simoes type of inflorescence where terminally it ends in a flower, So what we say here in Simoes inflorescence, the terminal stem or the branch, the terminal stem or branch ends in a flower. This is just a one mark question, so no need to bang your head on this, right? So in a Simoes inflorescence, the terminal stem or branch ends in a flower. Absolutely right. We move on to the next question. What are Historia? Yes. Now these Historia, these are special structures, okay, these are present in the parasitic, plants and fungi, and what these do, these basically, you will tell me that plants and fungi are almost the same thing, but we have already seen the 5 types of the, yes, the 5 types of the classification given by the 5 kingdom classification given by Whittaker. So what we will write here is, yes, the Historia, okay, the Historia are special structures, are special, okay, the Historia are special structures present in the parasitic plants. The word parasitic is very important. Present in the parasitic plants and fungi, present in the parasitic plants and fungi. The Historia special structures present in the parasitic plants and fungi, and these, okay, and these will absorb nutrition or nourishment, okay, from the host. So the Historia special structures present in the parasitic plants and fungi, and these will absorb nutrition or nourishment from the host. This is what Historia. So these are the special structures, right. Moving on to the next question, pick out, okay, first let me rub this. Pick out of the plants with palmate type of compound leaves from the list given below: bitter gourd, rose and silk cotton, and the correct option is silk cotton, having the palmate type of compound leaves. We have already talked about in this type that pinnate, palmate and all that, simple and compound leaves, so we will not go into the discussion. If you want to know, you can get back into the chapter. Silk cotton is the one which has the palmate type of the compound leaves, right. Palm type will be there, the unicostate, the multicostate and all that we have already discussed. Moving on to the next question, give any 2 reasons to justify that onion bulb is a modified stem. Yes, the onion which we eat, okay, is a modified stem. Onion bulb is a modified stem, okay, onion bulb is a modified stem as it has right. First of all, there will be fleshy and scaly leaves which store, okay, which store food and what we eat. Fleshy and scaly leaves which store food, right. The fleshy and scaly leaves which store food, and hence this is the food, this is the food what we are eating while having onion, what we are eating while while having onion, right. So, fleshy and scaly leaves we store food, and hence this is the food which we eat while having onion. And the second reason which we can give for this is that yes, these have what? These have the terminal okay, these have the terminal and axillary buds. Okay, these have the terminal and axillary buds present on them. Okay, so these have the terminal and axillary buds present on them, and that is why we said that yes, onion bulb is a modified stem. Okay. Why? Because you know the stem have leaves, and that's why we said, right, the stem have scaly and fleshy leaves over here. Okay, the leaves are fleshy and scaly and have food, and that is what the food we eat. Yes, you should be, you know, in the best of, should be happy while you are studying. We move on to the next question. What is the difference between a hypogynous and an epigynous? Yes. Okay, what is the difference between the hypogynous and the epigynous? So what we write here, this is the hypogynous and this is the epigynous condition. Okay. Now what we see in the hypogynous condition, hypo means lower and gynous over here is standing for the gynoecium or the ovary. So what do we mean by this here? Hypo, the floral whorls are inferior to the gynoecium. Okay, the floral whorls are inferior to the gynoecium. That means we can say inferior to the gynoecium, that is the ovary, or we can say inferior to the ovary. So we can say here the ovary is superior. The ovary is superior. Right. However, what we see here, epigynous, the floral whorls, right, here it's inferior, are superior to the ovary, are superior to the ovary. So what does it mean? That is the ovary, hence the ovary is inferior in these conditions. The ovary is inferior. Okay, the hypogynous and the epigynous. Give two external features on the basis of which rhizomes are classified as modified underground stems. Okay. So the features on which on the basis of which rhizomes, okay, the features on the basis of which rhizomes are classified as modified underground stems are, okay, the features on the basis of which rhizomes are classified as modified underground stems are: number 1, the stem body, the body is prostate swollen, right, the body is prostate and swollen and running horizontally on the ground, okay, and running horizontally on ground, okay. So the body is prostate and swollen and running horizontally on the ground. And secondly, what do we see? Presence of distinct nodes and internodes, okay, presence of distinct nodes and internodes which will be present in the modified underground stem, that is the rhizome. We move on to the next question. What is phyllotaxy? What is phyllotaxy? So phyllotaxy is the arrangement of leaves on the stem, okay. This is the arrangement, okay, this is the arrangement of leaves, this is the arrangement of leaves on the stem. This may be alternate or opposite. So in case of the alternate arrangement, what we will see that there will be leaves at every node, at every node oppositely. However, when we are talking about the opposite arrangement, we will see that leaves will be present on both the nodes opposite to each other. So if this is a stem, we will see, and these are the nodes. Say take 2 examples, okay, these are the 4 nodes. In the alternate arrangement, we will see, right, like this, alternative lead is present. However, in the opposite arrangement, we will see that like this, right, and that is what we mean by this phyllotaxy. So you can put this in words and this will frame your answer. Mention the 4 different conditions of the stamens, right. When we are talking about the different conditions of the stamen, we will see the first one as the monoadelphous condition, right. So monoadelphous condition. Now monoadelphous condition is a condition, mono means one, adelphous means many stamens are joined here, many filaments are joined here, in fact not the stamen. So here filaments join to form one group, okay, filaments join to form one group, this is the monoadelphous. Then we can talk of the diadelphous condition. Now what we see in the dialphondous condition, that filaments join to form two groups. Filaments join to form two groups. Third, polyadelphous, and here the filaments join to form many groups. Okay, filaments join to form many groups. Filaments join to form many groups. And then the syngenaceous condition. Syngenaceous condition. Now what is happening in the syngenaceous condition? What is happening in the syngenaceous condition? Here the filaments are free but the anthers are fused. Okay, here the filaments are free but anthers are fused. Here filaments are free but the anthers are fused, and hence these are the four different conditions of the stamen, right? Then why is the flower considered to be a modified shoot? Absolutely. Why is a flower considered as a modified shoot? See, basically we saw, that, or you can say, better a condensed shoot. See what we say, a flower has four whorls. In a shoot what we see, there are nodes, right? There are nodes, and at each node, there will be leaves and all these things. Say the branches are there, and all the other things are there. Now what is happening in, say, and what is a flower? What is a flower? In a flower we say that yes, this is the stalk of the flower, isn't it? The stalk of the flower, and we see, we say that yes, this is the stalk of the flower, and right, these, so when we take this, right, and we say this is the stalk of the flower, this is the the receptacle or the thalamus, we can say thalamus, and this is the stalk of the flower called the pedicel, right? These are the sepals, isn't it? And we say that yes, in the center there will be the ovary, the filament, the ovary, the style and the stigma, and here there will be the, right, the anthers and the filament, and here there will be the, right, the petals, isn't it? So what we say, there are four whorls. This is the sepal, this is the petal, right, this is the androecium, and this is the gynoecium. Now they say, they consider that okay, if this is, say, the stem, say, the, say, the the ovary would have been here and the stigma would have been here, say, the next whorl would have been here, what, the anthers, say the petals and all would have been here. Now what are they doing? They are compressing this, they are compressing this from the top, right, they are compressing this from the top. So what it becomes, right, this becomes a little broad over here, and all these whorls will come at the top here. Okay, so these, isn't it, say this is the sepal, so this sepal will come here, these will come here, and so on. And that is why we say that the flower is a modified shoot, that if you modify the shoot, if you compress the shoot, then this top part will become broad and thick, called the thalamus or the receptacle, and on the top will be all the four floral whorls, and that is why we say that the flower is a modified shoot.